Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to The Last Lap. In today's episode we're going to be talking about some news and some suspensions and other things that have come out over the past week or so, and some other news that has come out as well. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button, and also that notification bell that'll let you know as soon as we upload a video so you can watch it right away. But other than that, let's hop straight into it. I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show as always, and things are, sorry if our uploading schedule is a little weird lately because we're approaching our final week of school, so things are getting a bit hectic with assignments and all of that stuff. But Matthew has a feel to be heading into another race weekend here at Dover and approaching the end of our college lives as well.
Well, we'll see how Dover goes this weekend. It could be like Richmond and Phoenix. I don't think it'll be like Martinsville, of course, but we'll see how this car handles at the Monster Mile, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a Hendrick-dominated weekend, because since that's like Hendrick's background there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I might or might not have a few Hendrick cars in my, drivers to watch later on, but we'll leave that for a little bit later in the show. But to start things off, we had two controversial issues in NASCAR this past week. One of them was in the ARCA series that had to deal with Daniel Dye. Apparently he was arrested after some type of altercation. I'm assuming it was on school grounds because he's still a high schooler, I'm pretty sure. And he's been suspended indefinitely from ARCA because of that. So, it's the ARCA Menard series is these young kids trying to get into NASCAR, most of which are kind of immature and haven't really grown as much as a person, and stuff like this happens, and you just hate to see it. So I don't see him getting back involved in the sport anytime soon. I don't know what the repercussions of that incident are going to be, but I do wish him the best. Another incident that happened does have to do with the NASCAR Cup Series, and that is Denny Hamlin. He tweeted a tweet that came. He tweeted like a meme or a video of something that what NASCAR didn't like, so they slapped him with a sensitivity training thing, and he has to start it by this weekend, or else he couldn't compete in Dover. So I'm sure that he started that, and he apologized for the tweet and all of that stuff. So two controversial topics to start off this week. And as well as all of that happening this week, NASCAR announced the All-Star format for this year at Texas, and it is better than last year's chaos that happened last year at Texas Motor Speedway. That's probably the most confused I've ever been at a NASCAR race in my life, or most confused watching a NASCAR race in my life. But so I'm actually going to hop into qualifying first. So that'll be the first round of that is traditional single car qualifying, but the fastest 8 of those move on to a head-to-head round of 8 bracket style kind of thing. So how that works is there'll be 2 cars on pit road side by side. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to set this up yet. It'll be interesting to see. But there'll be 2 cars side by side like this on pit road, I'm assuming, and crews will service the car for each team. They'll do a 4-tire pit stop, and when the jack drops, those cars can take off down pit road, no speed limit, get back onto the racetrack, and the first car to come back around to the start-finish line will advance to the next round. So they'll do that and then be knocked down to 4, obviously, and then down to 2, and whoever wins the last one standing will start on the pole. So I thought that was a very cool start to the weekend. I like that adjustment in qualifying. I kind of wish for the single car qualifying that they did the traditional where they did a lap, came down pit road, did the pit stop, and then went back out and finished it, but that would probably take a little bit longer if they did that and the head-to-head challenge type of thing. So I like the qualifying format. I think it'll be cool to see 2 cars basically racing each other on the track for the pole position. So I like that. As for the actual all-star race format in general, it'll be 4 stages with a break in the middle. So the first stage is 25 laps. The winner from that stage will actually start first in the final stage, in stage 4, which I like, and it'll be the same for stage 2 and stage 3. So the stage 1 winner will start first, the stage 2 winner will start second, the third stage winner will start third in the final stage. I like that they're rewarding drivers for being up front. But they have to finish above 15th in the other stages to qualify to be able to hold that position, which I also like. So drivers can't sandbag the rest of the time and just hang out in the back. So I like that they have to stay competitive in the top 15 in order to hold that first, second, and third position. During the break, halftime, I guess you can call it for this, there's going to be a pit stop competition. And the team with the fastest time on pit road, including a 4-tire pit stop, will actually start fourth in the final stage, which I like as well. So NASCAR is rewarding the drivers, they're rewarding the pit crews, they're rewarding everybody for performing well. So that will happen in between stages 2 and 3. Or like I already said, the third stage, 25 laps, the winner from that will start third in the final stage. And the fourth stage is 50 laps. And this is where things get a little bit confusing, where things I don't like necessarily as much as I should like it. But stage 4 is 50 laps, and if there is a quote-unquote natural caution, so a driver spins out or a driver blows an engine or something like that, and a caution comes out between laps 15 and 25, then the race will finish under normal procedures. But if there isn't a caution for any type of natural cause, I guess you could call it, NASCAR will throw like a specialty caution at lap 25, and then from there on the race will finish under normal racing procedures, and the winner will earn $1 million. So my quick reaction to this all-star format is the only thing I don't necessarily like is stage 4. I just kind of wish that they split stage 4 in half, because that's probably what's going to happen anyways. They're going to race through the first 25 laps of stage 4, and then the caution is going to come out, and then they're just going to run 25 more laps, I feel like that's what's going to happen. So why not just split stage 4 into 2 more stages, stages 4 and 5, and just run it that way? But it is a little interesting that NASCAR decided to do it this way. It's a little complicated, but overall, I'm not really mad at it. I like the whole idea in general. I just don't necessarily like how they did that final stage, but I think it's going to be a cool format. I really like the qualifying. That's what I'm really excited for. But Matthew, what do you have to say about this news for drivers being suspended and sensitivity training and all that, and then for the all-star qualifying and race format?
Well, as far as the ARCA driver goes, I never really heard much about this kid until I watched ARCA last weekend at Talladega, which he was driving the 43 car for GMS, I think. And yeah, I mean, he pretty much just ruined his whole career. I think his whole career is probably over from this, because I mean, he's just a young kid that hasn't really proven much yet. I heard he has one ARCA win. I think that was last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, he's not really a proven driver. So I don't know. I think his career's over, all because, once again, a spoiled brat in the ARCA series, just so immature. I mean, that's the problem with the ARCA series, is that there's no veterans in that series. There's no leaders in that series. It's just full of spoiled rich kids that they think they can do what they want and wreck everyone whenever they want. So that's just that's unfortunate for this series. It's basically a dying series at this point, and they might as well turn into that electric series that NASCAR keeps talking about. At least do something, because ARCA's is going down the drain in terms of respect, and the drivers are in that series. It's just full of young, spoiled, rich kids, basically. So that's just my ARCA rant, and that's my rant on that kid, because what he did was absolutely stupid. I mean, you got your dream. You're racing in NASCAR or ARCA, same thing. You're a race car driver. That's your dream. And you just threw it away because typical high school, whatever. It's really, I feel bad for GMS, who has to deal with this crap. I mean, just full of rich kids. So that's all I'm going to say about that. As for Denny Hamlin, this whole thing has been controversial as well. I mean, I know what Hamlin was trying to do. He was just trying to, poke fun over his two cars at 2311 and crash because of Larson. But I mean, this is the era we live in. I mean, people are going to get offended, and especially on Twitter. And that's the reason why I don't do Twitter. I never will do Twitter, even though Elon Musk just bought it. I'm not getting on that because it's just full of softies and full of whining on there. So I'm not getting on that. And I mean, it's unfortunate for Denny Hamlin, but he's got to realize that this is the era we live in, and you just have to be careful what you post or say on there, because someone's going to get offended, and the place you work at, which is NASCAR for Hamlin, with Joe Gibbs and the sponsors, that's going to be a bad look on them. So that's why they had to make him do sensitivity training. So hopefully, I guess this is probably going to be a lesson for all the other drivers who think about posting anything on Twitter that might be questionable. So yeah, just got to be careful on there. And as for the All-Star format, this is definitely much better than last year. I don't even remember what last year was like because it was just an absolute mess. But this is much more simple. That's all we need. But we don't need that competition caution thing at the last stage. There's no reason for that. But I mean, I guess do what you gotta do to make a Texas race interesting, because it's unfortunate that we have to have the All-Star race at the worst track on the schedule. So that's already bad enough. So I mean, I guess they just had to do what they think will make Texas better. So we'll see how it goes, but this is a much better format.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember from last year's All-Star format is they spun some type of wheel, and that's about it. And I don't really remember much else. It was quite confusing, but yeah, I'm excited to see how this All-Star race does. I still think that they should rotate the venue year to year. Like, track should bid on it or something, or it should be like randomly selected or something like that for every year, so that All-Star race can move around to different venues. But that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. I know the owner of Texas has a lot of money and is probably paying NASCAR a lot of money to host the All-Star race there, so it'll be interesting to see if that changes in the next few years or not. But now it's time for our picks and predictions for this weekend at Texas. The All-Star race is in Texas. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys can't tell, I am quite exhausted from schoolwork and work and all that. So,
well, it's a good thing we're not in Texas this weekend.
Dover. Our picks and predictions for Dover. Sorry about that. So I guess I'll go ahead and start it off, and I'm just going to list a bunch of Chevrolet drivers because they seem to be the hottest manufacturer in NASCAR right now. The first two are actually going to be the only two repeat winners so far this season. Rosh Chastain and William Byron. William Byron was obviously part of that 1, 2, 3, 4 finish at Dover last year, and Rosh Chastain seems like he's heating up as the season moves on. Seems like he's getting better and better. Has 2 wins under his belt. Could have a few more. He's had a few very good races, so I'm going to say watch out for those 2 drivers. The third driver that I'm going to watch, who is, I guess, kind of a sleeper out of this group, I'm going to say it myself. I'm going to say the hack, Alex Bowman. I'm going to say watch out for him. He did win this race last year, and
if he won last year, that's not really a sleeper then.
I would say he's definitely like a dark horse, kind of, but really. I'm going to say watch out for him. And I will throw one driver out there who isn't a Chevy to watch out for, who's kind of a sleeper as well. I would say watch out for Kevin Harvick. I feel like he's a driver that you might have to watch this week as well. So, Matthew, who are some of the drivers you're going to have to watch this week at Dover?
Well, I'm going to obviously take the other 2 Hendrick drivers that you did not list, because this is a Hendrick-dominated track, and it'll be really stupid of me to not pick them. So I'm going to choose the remaining 2 Hendrick drivers. You know who they are. I'm going to also pick Chase Briscoe. Actually, I think I'll put Chase Briscoe down there just because He's been good on the shorter track. He's been good on the shorter tracks this year, which of course he won at Phoenix. So I think that's someone to keep an eye on. I'll throw in Martin Truex Jr. as well because he's also been really good at Dover as well. He's shown speed, but we'll see how he does. But yeah, that's who I think they'll look out for this weekend.
Yeah, those are all some good drivers to look out for. Of course, we will update you guys in our fantasy standings after Dover, and you have the lead for the first time, so that'll be interesting to see how that comes together this weekend. But I'm definitely going to have to watch practice and qualifying because one thing I've learned this year is that history at these racetracks means almost nothing except for Richmond because, like, we knew the Toyotas were good there and they won. So other than that, history really hasn't shown itself this year, so I'm gonna have to watch practice and qualifying to see who gets their car dialed in. But yeah, do you have any other closing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this episode up?
I mean, yeah, NASCAR's just gotta do something with ARCA. I mean, that series is just falling on a cliff here. I mean, we just saw someone get injured at Talladega, and then now we got a young prospect here acting like a fool in school. So They gotta do something with that series. They gotta put veterans in there, new leaders in there, or just do whatever. They need to change something because ARCA isn't gonna last long. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. My closing thoughts are going to be about the All-Star race. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think the format is good. I think this is something to build on for future All-Star races. I like this idea of rewarding the drivers for winning the stages and the pit crews for doing well, and I like the way they did qualifying. So a lot of promise for this All-Star race, and hopefully more to come. They can use this format, maybe tweak it a tiny bit, but other than that, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for our review video of Dover, which should hopefully be out sometime early next week, pending our college and work schedules, because things are getting hectic. But we do appreciate you guys supporting our channel. But until next time, we will see you guys in our next video.